Hey guys, a new season, a new top 15 best heroes to solo rank up, and it's already season 27. I'll give a brief explanation why these heroes are really good for climbing, especially in solo queue. If you ever need a tutorial or build for any of the heroes mentioned, the links for those videos will be on the description down below. In this list, I will be including heroes that is almost banned in every single match, such as Joy, 1-1, Glue, Kaja and Martis. If you ever see them open and you know how to use them properly, then you almost want to pick those heroes. So without further ado, here's the list. Hayabusa used to be a terrible assassin after they nerfed his second skill, but thankfully in one of the recent updates, they fixed this issue and he's back to being one of the strongest assassins out there. His skill sets allow him to easily pick off any squishy heroes, even when they're in the backline. He's also so slippery that it's quite hard to catch him if you know what you're doing. And if you're ever in a situation that your team is losing quite badly, then you can choose for the split push route, which he quite excels at. Whenever I pick this hero, there is only a small chance that I can actually lose the match, unless I get extremely unlucky. So I definitely guarantee that if you master this assassin, you should be able to rank up pretty fast and with a decent win rate. Kairi is now one of the most feared marksmen in the game. Her true damage goes absolutely nuts that even tanks will get melted in a matter of seconds. Also, now that this new item has been added, Swift Crossbow, her attack speed has increased quite significantly. But the best thing about Kairi is that unlike other marksmen, she is actually quite tanky, because all you need is to build 3 offensive items: Corrosion Sight, Golden Staff and Demon Hunter Sword, and the rest can be defensive item, which will make her quite hard to kill, and even better if your position is good. You probably have seen this many times already in solo queue, that a lot of times players in solo queue don't like to play tank, and sometimes you might end up without a tank in your team. If you ever find yourself in that situation, just pick a Kai, because he's one of those few tanks that can actually carry the game. The best part is that you can play him as the jungler, which I think suits him better. But what if your team has a tank as the roamer? Well, even better, because 2 tanky heroes makes a better sturdy frontline, which in theory should allow your mage and marksman to have a much easier time during the team fights. Harif used to be one of the most OP heroes in the game, but after a few nerfs, he is quite forgotten for a while. But he's slowly coming back into the meta, especially if you play him as the XP or gold lane. The reason for that is because now you'll be able to equip a useful spell such as Vengeance, which can hard counter many marksmen, and if the opponents have tons of CC skills, then go for Purify. Another great thing about him is that he can go nuts during the team fight. With his infinite dashes and his shield, he can sustain quite a lot, while at the same time dishing tons of damage to the enemies. Harley is one of those junglers that can gank extremely efficiently from start to almost late game. And if your team takes advantage of your constant gank, you should be able to snowball the game before the opponents have a chance to get all the late game items. Whenever his ult is available, you gotta try to make something happen. But one thing that I have seen many inexperienced players do is that they auto-aim his ult, aka double tapping. During a team fight, you always want to prioritize the opponent's DPS first. But if your tank is out of position and there's no DPS on site, then feel free to just remove the tank out of the picture first. If you have truly mastered Gusion, then it doesn't matter if you play him as the jungler, mid lane, or even XP lane. He can one-shot almost every single DPS in the game. Although in a 5-man queue, it is hard to execute his combo on the enemy's DPS during a team fight, because if they're good, they will know how to protect the backline. But in solo queue, players are less coordinated, so you will have a lot more freedom to kill whoever you want. Just keep using the bushes quite often to ambush the opponents. Freddy is another great tank for solo ranking. He is the full package. He can be played as a jungler, roamer, or XP laner. He can sustain a lot, have tons of CC, and can deal lots of damage as well. Just like the Akai situation, if you see that your team is lacking a good frontline, because maybe the roamer pick is quite squishy, like Angela, Selena, etc., then you should definitely consider picking a tanky jungler or XP laner. Because if your team has no good frontline, it is really hard to win the team fight, especially in the late game. The opponents will have an easy time going for your marksman and mage. Paquito is definitely one of the best junglers in solo queue. He has tons of damage, can move around the map really fast, has a lot of dashes, and also plenty of CC as well. A good Paquito can easily solo dominate the game, and even if he's the most fed and the enemies try to focus on him first, they will have a hard time catching him because of all the dashes he has. Also, he can easily invade the enemy's jungler after level 4, because he usually has the upper hand against many junglers in the game. Beatrix has one of the highest raw physical damage in the game, thanks to the passive of her first skill. And if you combine with the talent from the marksman emblem that gives 15% extra physical attack, then you will be deleting all your targets almost instantly. I experimented a bit and tried the attack speed build, which includes Demon Hunter Sword, Golden Staff and Corrosion Sight, and I concluded that the attack damage build is definitely superior. It just deals more damage overall, can attack from afar with the sniper, and more importantly, deals a lot more damage to building compared to the attack speed build. Kadita is just the queen of one shot. Once she gets her ult, she can literally kill almost any hero in the game, even tanks included, if they're a bit wounded. Now that she can use Petrify while she is surfing, it just becomes extremely hard for the opponent to have a chance to dodge it, unless they have Purify. And if that's the case, just pay attention to their cooldown and choose your targets accordingly. Just like many one-shot mages, the bush is your best friend, so keep camping, even if the opponents start crying that all you do is camp. Yeah, that's still a thing, because somehow they think FPS games are the same as MOBA. A lot of players wrote her off when her ult became smaller, but they failed to realize that she deals a lot more damage now, and more importantly, becomes immune to all CC, except Suppress, which only 2 heroes have the ability, Franco and Kaja. Another great thing about Eve is that you can constantly poke the opponents from a safe distance. And now the second skill can even show vision on the bush, which is extremely helpful. If you see that they have some heroes that can easily attack the bot line, then I would recommend building some defensive items, for example the breastplate. Leomord is not banned as often as before, so I decided to include him in this list. After a recent buff he received, he has become a top tier fighter. And if you can somehow convince your team to pick Angela and to use the ult only on you during the team fight, then you can go absolutely nuts and kill everything on sight. Even flooring works to a certain extent because of her passive extra item. By the way, the new item Swift Crossbow actually works wonders on him as well. You don't necessarily need to finish building Corrosion Sight right away. Just the Swift Crossbow is enough for a good portion of the game. Benedetta is definitely one of the hardest assassins to kill in the game, maybe even harder than Hayabusa. You can play her as the jungler or in the XP lane, but from what I have seen, Benedetta excels in the XP lane because of the fact that she can easily cut the lane and then help your team secure the neutral objective with more ease, because she should be able to rotate faster than her counterpart. Also, since she can equip Petrify if she is playing the XP lane, she just becomes a nightmare to all the opponent's squishy heroes. Whenever you play Claude, just focus on getting his Demon Hunter sword as quickly as possible. Before you get that item, just focus on ulting the waves and play extremely passively, unless your team is helping gank in your lane. Once you get DHS, you will receive a huge power spike and can start fighting with more confidence. Just be smart and patient during the teamfight, and wait until the opponents are a bit distracted with your allies. Once they are distracted and use their ult and CC skills, just blink to their backlines and ult them all. Depending on the enemy's composition, usually the recommended spells are Vengeance, Flicker or Purify. Valentina is rarely banned nowadays, but she still remains one of the most agile mages in the game. The fact that she not only has one, but two dashes, and with very low cooldown, already make her a great mage. But then you include the fact that she deals a lot of damage as well and can CC, then there's no reason to say that she's no good. And if you see that the opponents have some very juicy ults to copy, such as Atlas, Akai, etc., then I would highly recommend picking this mage, because what they thought to be a really good pick would actually end up biting them in the end. Anyway, that's all for this list. I hope it gives you a better idea which heroes have the upper hand in solo queue. But like I've always said in these kind of videos, what truly matters is how you play the hero, and not the hero itself. So if you're a godly Cyclops, you'll easily outplay a decent Hayabusa or whoever is in this list. Best of luck climbing this season, and see you on the next video.